Once again, we're going over the OP-05 cards right now. This video, we're going to talk about the blue cards in OP-05. Once again, this is the crudely translated version of the Japanese website because it's not up on the English side during the Asia website, the time of recording. But if I need to refer to anything, I'll refer to the translations over on the Discord because all the shout out to all the talented translators out there. But yeah, let's jump into the blue cards. So we've already talked about the leaders, so if you want to see that, you can check it out on in my channel. But let's talk about Isho. So 6 cost 6,000 power with counter 1,000, and on play up to one of your opponents cost 7 or less character cannot attack until the start of your next turn. This is, interesting because you can prevent something that's cost 7 or less from attacking just by playing out Isho. You have a 6,000 power body on the field, and yeah, you're preventing something from attacking you in the face. However, blue just has way better answers, like Red Rock, 3,000 Worlds, which just eliminates the problem completely. So this is just a stall card, and because this is just only stalling for like one turn, and it's only one of your opponent's characters that cost 7 or less, I think that maybe there might be better options at this. This might be something that people pass over, maybe 1 or 2 copies as a tech card, but other than that, don't see it being played more than, other than like Red Rock or something. This could be just like a one-off, I don't know. But I don't think that it's as strong as some of the other cards out there, and there are better cards currently in the metagame. But this, Alti. So it's a 4 cost 5,000 power super rare with counter 1,000. On play, if your leader is multicolored, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to 1 card to your hand, then rearrange the rest in any order that you like, put them at the top or bottom of the deck. I think I've said my piece about Alti. This is without a doubt one of the strongest blue cards to exist, and will be a staple for every blue multicolored leader moving forward. This is just too good not to include. I would say that I would go as far as to say that this might be the best card of the set, just because of the utility alone, and like this will definitely see a lot of play unless something better comes around. But every blue based multicolored leader will want to play 4 copies of Alti. That's how great Alti is. Also the art, no need to say anything about it, but we can move on to John Giant. 8 cost 10,000 power, vanilla with counter 1,000. Yeah, sometimes people play this. It's a vanilla. Great artwork though, very cute. So let's move on to Stainless. Not sure, this is crudely translated, not sure if the character names are correct. I do recognize the character, just sometimes I forget it off the top of my head. But it's a 4 cost 5,000 power with counter 1,000. And activate main, you can discard 1 card from your hand and put this character to rest. Place up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. This may be a tech card. This could be used if you see a lot of Red Green Law, a lot of Zoro. But the fact that you have to discard a card and put this guy in rest just to get rid of something that's 2 or less, there are better answers out there. Like same thing, like 3,000 Worlds does the job and it affects like 5 costs or less. So, maybe this might see like a small number of play depending on the metagame. But other than that, I will see this is going to be passed over for sure. Alright, Dalmatian, 4 cost 5,000 power, counter 1,000. When KO'd, draw 1 card and place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. This, I feel like, could be played. I mean, people definitely want to try this out for sure. Because, it's a character that's KO dependent. Doesn't really have any other effects. So you can treat it like a vanilla until it gets KO'd. And then you draw 1, discard 1. Oh, sorry, place 1 card to the bottom of your deck. Yeah, maybe this will see play. I'm not really that sure. I don't think this is as strong as it needs to be. There are better cards in this slot. So yeah, this might be passed over as well. Alright, Basil Hawkins, 4 cost 5,000 power with counter 1,000. Has blocker. And when blocking, if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. After that, this character gets a plus 1,000 power during this battle. First of all, the artwork is amazing. Looks like some kind of Transylvania shit. The fact that, it's when block, you 3 cards less in your hand, draw 1, and then you get a boost in power. Makes it so that maybe like a 7k attack can be blocked by Basil Hawkins. effect will trigger, and you can counter with a 2k just to survive the attack. That I can see happening. Yeah, this kind of competes against the slot of Ball Hancock, and Ball Hancock just has, I would say, a better effect, but this does get 1000 power. I'm not sure which is better, which is worse. Blue players, let me know which would you rather play, a Ball Hancock or Basil Hawkins. I feel like there's a place for both of them in any blue deck, and yeah, it's still a blocker. So this is, I would say go so far as to call it a staple, but it's a playable card. Then we got Bastille, 5 cost 6000 power with counter 1000. Turn 1 when attacking, place up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less on the bottom of the owner's deck. So this I can see being played a little bit more than, let's say, Stainless, just cause, that guy you have to rest it, but this is when attacking. And it's a 6000 power beater. With 1 Dawn, it's a 7k attacker. And yeah, in certain meta games, this would be a really, really great card against Red Green Law. You have Zoros. Get rid of all the 2 cost or less characters just by attacking. I can see this being played. Yeah, this is a playable card. Alright, 8T. Is that even the name? I'm not sure. 6 cost 7000 power. With Dawn 1, when attacking, return up to 1 character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. Yeah, it's a good tempo card. This could be interesting. Like, you can just attack with it. With 1 Dawn attached, it's an 8k attacker. And then you just bounce something that's 3 or less, maybe a blocker, maybe something like an, for example, like an Okiku, or even a Sugar that you want to get rid of. You can just bounce it back to your opponent's hand. As a tempo card, this is great. I think it's playable. Not sure if it's just, I don't think it's a staple at all, just a playable card. People might slot this in as a tech piece, so that's great. Then we got Hina. Okay, artwork goes a little too hard. 3 cost 4000 power with counter 1000. On play, if you have 5 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. Yeah, if you need the card draw, you can play Hina. Playable for sure. There are different sorts of card draw. I mean, you might as well just play Kaya if you want to filter through your deck a little bit. Maybe Nami. Maybe Nami could play this. I mean, it is an on play draw 1. So, but it is determined whether you have 5 cards or less in your hand. I'm not sure if Nami would want to play this, but you could. There are better cards out there, but you could play Hina. Playable, yeah. But not a powerful card. Then we got Borsellino, 7 cost 8000 power. On play, place up to 1 character with cost of 4 or less on the bottom of the owner's deck. Definitely playable. There are so many targets in the 4 cost slot. A lot of 4 cost blockers, Marco the Phoenix, a lot of the, like, for example, Charlotte Cracker, Sanji, and you just play Borsellino, ship it to the bottom, boom. And the fact that you can attack with Sakazuki as your leader makes something -1. So 5 cost characters can be affected by Borsellino as well, as long as you reduce the cost from 5 to 4. And like in blue-black, you have so many black cards that can reduce cost of something. And then once you play out Borsellino, you not only get rid of the threat, you have an 8000 power beater on the field. Borsellino, definitely playable. And I'm excited to see what blue players make do with Borsellino. Then we got Maynard, 2 cost 2000 power with counter 1000 and blocker. You can use it if you want, it's a blocker. So let's move on to Mozambia. 1 cost 2000 power with counter 1000. During your turn, once per turn, when you draw a card outside of the draw phase, this character gains plus 2000 power during this turn. So it requires you to draw outside of your main draw phase. Just to get a 2000 power doesn't even reach like 4k. I think this is not strong enough in the current meta game. There are better options that you can play. So yeah, this, I wouldn't say it's unplayable, but yeah, this will definitely be passed over in favor of other cards. Then we got GARP. 3 cost 3000 power with counter 2000, so yeah, that's great. When on play, draw 2 cards and place 2 cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck in any order. This is an additional Kaya. Play a certain number of GARP, maybe even a full playset. It's a 2k counter after all, but for normal blue decks who don't need to mill out to win, this is a great card because it's a Kaya that you can search because it has a Navy subtrade or the Marine subtrade. So that's great. And the artwork is so boss and so cute. Yeah, play GARP. Great card. Alright, next we got XRAY, 5 cost 6000 power with counter 1000. And he has blocker. And on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order, and then put it at the top or bottom of your deck. Yep, this is like the slightly bigger version of Doflamingo. I can see this being played for sure. It's a mid-range blocker. There's a place for this guy. Even if it didn't have the blocker, I feel like it would still be a playable card. So XRAY having blocker is just an additional perk, which makes it super playable. So that's great. Then we got XBROWS, 2 cost 2000 power with counter 1000. On play, you can place one character other than this character on the bottom of your deck to draw one card. So it's an on-play ability, and you can place a character, different character to draw a card. Maybe Nami can mess around with it, but I don't think that it's strong enough to be warranted the playable like status. So may drop it down a little bit. I don't think it's like super powerful. So there you go. Alright, now we're moving on to the blue events. So we got ANUGAMI GUREN, 2 cost event card with main, plus 3000 power for your leader or up to one of your characters during this turn. After that, put up to one character with a cost of 2 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. And the trigger is return up to one character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. So this, I've played against I played against Sakazuki, Noah Sakazuki list that was trying out this card in particular. It's actually really quite good. You can get rid of early searches, or you can reduce the cost of something from 5 to maybe 2 or 4 to 2, which is easy if you combine like the Marineford stage with Sakazuki's attack ability, and then you can reduce something that's a 4 cost blocker to a 2 cost and send it to the bottom, yet you're giving 3000 power for your leader or one of your characters. So you can use it to get rid of something or attack into your opponent's leader. This is definitely a playable card. Not sure how many copies Blue wants to dedicate towards this particular event card, but I think there's a place for it. I definitely think there's a place for this card, because imagine you're using 3 Dawns to attach to your leader. This does it in 2. And you get an additional perk. So yeah, I can see this being played for sure. Great card. And then yeah, life is too much. I think that's not the correct translation, but it's fine. It's an 8 cost event card with main. Place all characters with a cost of 3 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. After that, each player discards their hand so that they have 5 cards in your hand. Trigger ability is place all characters with a cost of 2 or less on the bottom of the owner's deck. This, even though it's an 8 cost event card, this is so good against something like Red-Green Law. It's just an auto, like, okay, goodbye. Maybe not the blockers, but hey, you can even affect like the 5 cost Trafalgar Laws with, let's say you have the Marineford stage card, you got Sakazuki's attack ability, reduce that law from 5 to 3, and then play this, and then you send everything to the bottom of the deck. And if they have a lot of cards in your hand, you discard until they have 5. I don't think they will play like a lot of copies of this card, but you'll definitely play like maybe 1 or 2 as a tech piece if the metagame calls for it. So that's great. This card is very interesting. I mean, like, I want to see Bandai do more of these type of cards because they are really cool. Then yeah, let's start the World of Violence, or let's start the whatever the proper title is. It's 5 cost event card. Main, if your leader is multicolored, you can draw a card. After that, return up to one character with a cost of 5 or less to its owner's hand. Then if your the trigger is, if your leader is multicolored, draw 2 cards. So yeah, you're bouncing something 5 or less. It's a great tempo card because you get to draw one. Maybe in like blue purple Kaido, you can use it. Even in blue purple Crocodile, or any blue base multicolored leader deck, you can potentially use this to gain a little bit of tempo and yet draw a card. I think it's not an answer to something, because like Red Rock and 3000 Worlds are dedicated answers, but you can definitely still play this. I think it's a playable card. Not sure how many copies will end up in decks. Maybe 1 or 2. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, so now for blue, there is a secret rare in the form of Kaido. It's a 10 cost Kaido, 10 cost 12,000 power, part of the 4 Emperors and Beast Pirates, and on play, if your opponent life is at 3 or less, draw 4 cards. This is a late game card for sure, and your opponent's definitely going to be at 3 or less life. And if you are kind of like not too far behind, if you still have like 1 or 2 life left, you play down Kaido, draw 4 cards. It's really, really powerful. And you have a 12k body on the field. This card is really, really strong. Of course, you can't really commit to it when you're losing, unless you want to hope that you get like 4 2k counters or something. But as a like almost late game or late game card, a late game threat, this is fantastic. And this is a secret rare that, you know, blue purple Kaido can potentially use in conjunction with the under 10 cost Kaido. That's great too. I love this card. It's really, really strong. And that's it. I think that's the end of the blue cards. No blue stages this time. In the next video, we're going to move on to the purple cards. And then on the 26th, I'm definitely putting up a box opening video of OP-05, but I'm doing a live stream on the 26th of August, Saturday morning for Singapore time, around 8 or 9 a.m. I'll put up the link so you can expect it. And hopefully you guys can join me, and hopefully we get to pull something good for doing our case opening. Anyway, that's it for me for today. We'll see you in the purple review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.